What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate having you here. My name is Akira Wendell, and we're about to do another video about the same things we always talk about, which is about printing, starting your own clothing brand, and design. So kick back, relax, because this video I think is going to be pretty cool. We're going to investigate whether DTF is the best method of printing or if it's not. So I think anybody who's just starting out in the industry or who's just starting with DTF, I think you're gonna like this video because we're gonna get down and dirty with it and we're gonna see, is it as perfect as they say it is? So kick back, relax, take it easy, and just check this video out. Peace. All right, people, as a t-shirt printer for many years, I know that there are certain methods of printing that you should use and shouldn't use depending on the application. Are you printing for production is one question. Are you printing for samples? And are you just printing for fun? I think these are important questions we gotta ask ourselves. And another major important question is, how big is the design? Now, when I say how big the design is, I'm talking about surface area. So if you're designing something that's gonna take up a lot of surface area, you're gonna wanna use a different method, not DTF. And I'm gonna show you why. So if you look over here on the computer, when I say a lot of surface area, I'm talking about something like this. Here it is. So this tee, I don't know if you guys can see it, but let me just try to zoom in. So this thing over here, this t-shirt, I mean, it's obviously a rocket. And basically, if you look at it, no thanks. Fuck out of here. Okay, so if you look at it, it takes up a lot of surface area and there's not much space, there's not much garment. And whenever you're doing designs like that, it's always best to go with another type of print method. Because if you use DTF for something like this, what it's gonna do is it's gonna be very weighty. I don't know if you guys remember, but I have my previous video where we printed my design and it was the Defiance tee. So this is the tee I use for my brand, and this is an awesome design, right? So this is an example where you would use DTF because it doesn't take up so much surface area. This is why script fonts are awesome to work with like streetwear brands and other types of designs, because they don't take up so much surface area, so they're not as weighty on the shirt. But if you go out there and do something like this, you're gonna wanna try to do something else, you know? Some other method. Maybe screen printing might be better, you know? And even with screen printing, it'll be pretty weighty, it'll be pretty heavy. So designs like this, you are not gonna wanna use DTF. And I'm gonna show you why, okay? Check this out. All right, everybody, so here's an example of what I'm talking about. So last fall, for the Unica brand collection, so we did like a sweatshirt, right? So this is the sweatshirt. It's Unica brand racing, and it's a really dope sweatshirt. But when we started selling this sweatshirt, we didn't sell it as DTF transfers. We actually worked with a distributor who actually does the printing for us, and they ship it out, which is how we normally make sales. Our distributor will print it, and then they'll deliver and they'll fulfill the order. As far as using the heat press, I mainly use the press to test out designs, maybe for pictures with models and also for samples. So this is more of a testing thing. It's very rare that we use the heat press for production, and I want to be very clear and transparent about that. Yeah, whenever you're going into production mode, it's always good to work with like a third-party like distributor or printer who can print on demand. I mean, we hear this all the time, print on demand, because it really is a very convenient way to make sales. So anyway, getting back to why DTF is not good for certain applications. So here's the sweatshirt, right? Now it looks pretty dope, right? So if you look over here, the ink is pretty solid, man. It's pretty soft. And for a sweatshirt, this is actually pretty nice. I mean, it looks pretty good, you know? But look at the back. This is an example of a huge surface area design. Now you can see clearly this is like it's like a fucking pancake. You don't want pancakes. And this is why I like to use DTF as a testing apparatus for my designs. I get to see how it's going to be on the garment, how it's going to fit, and ultimately how it's going to look and wear on the customer. So if you look at this is crazy. Look how thick this is. I mean, it's literally like wearing a pancake on your back. So thank God we don't sell this, but this is why testing is so important. This is why we have the heat press, to do our testing. Anybody who's in the industry will know that testing is a huge part of starting a clothing brand, especially a t-shirt brand, blah. Yeah. So it's very important that if you're going to use heat pressing as a method, that it's not going to be on a design that takes up a lot of surface area like this one. Okay. Make sure that there is a lot of negative space in between the design and the garment. That way you'll get the best results. Then you can use DTF all day, every day, you know? But that is one example. All right, guys, another example when you're not gonna wanna use DTF is when you're doing large scale runs. Now, if you're just starting out in the industry, you're probably not getting a whole lot of orders. So in that situation, I would say definitely use the heat press. But once you start getting large scale runs, it becomes very time consuming and labor intensive. And that's also another point when you want to go from DTF to finding a large scale printer that'll do it for you. I mean, a whole company that does the fulfilling and everything. So that's another situation where DTF is not the best and most efficient way of printing. Otherwise, it's perfect, okay? So, in conclusion, right, the best and only time that you want to use DTF is when you want to test designs, if you want to run samples, and if you want to just do a few sales, right? Like local sales, right? Friends and a few orders here and there. But once you get into large scale ordering, it becomes very labor intensive. You know, I once had to do 50 t-shirts, and I know 50 might not sound like a lot, but it was actually pretty labor intensive. So, you know, those are probably the two best examples I could give you of when to use DTF and when not to use DTF. So if you're just starting out in the industry, I hope this helped you out. I hope you have a little bit more direction as to whether to go to DTF or even DTG if you feel like doing that, or even screen printing if you're really large scale. So I hope this video helped you out. I hope you have a better understanding of DTF and how it's really effective when the surface area of your print is not that big. You know, I can't stress that enough. Do not print a large scale design on a garment using DTF, because it is going to be a little bit on the heavy side. So yeah, that was it. Thank you guys for watching. I feel like this is very important for people to know. I wish somebody would have shared that with me before I went into DTF. But yeah, I hope you take away from this video something that's gonna help you. And once again, thank you guys for watching. Hope to see you again in the next video. Peace.